Question 1. In Scrum, which role is primarily responsible for maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the development team? I. The Project Manager. B. The Scrum Master. C. The Product Owner. D. The Stakeholder. Answer: C. The Product Owner. The product owner is the sole person responsible for managing the product backlog, which includes clearly expressing product backlog items, ordering them to best achieve goals and missions, and ensuring the value of the work the development team performs. This role acts as a bridge between the stakeholders and the development team, ensuring the team is always working on the most valuable features. For example, if a team is building a new mobile app, the product owner decides which features are most important for users and the business, prioritizing them for development. Remember, the product owner is the ultimate decision maker for what goes into the product to ensure its maximum value. Question 2. Which of the following is a core principle of the Agile Manifesto? I. Extensive documentation over working software. B. Following a plan over responding to change. C. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. D. Contract negotiation over customer collaboration. Answer: C. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. The Agile Manifesto emphasizes valuing individuals and interactions more highly than processes and tools, highlighting the importance of human communication and collaboration in successful project delivery. This principle recognizes that complex problems are best solved by people working together effectively, adapting to challenges, rather than rigidly adhering to predefined structures. For instance, an Agile team might hold a face-to-face discussion to clarify requirements instead of relying solely on a detailed written specification. Always prioritize direct communication and teamwork in an Agile environment, as it often leads to better understanding and outcomes. Question 3. What is the primary purpose of the Daily Scrum in an Agile Scrum project? I. To report progress to the project manager. B. To discuss and resolve all technical impediments for the entire sprint. C. To synchronize activities and create a plan for the next 24 hours. D. To review the product backlog and update estimates for upcoming sprints. Answer: C. To synchronize activities and create a plan for the next 24 hours. The Daily Scrum is a short, time-boxed event for the development team to inspect progress toward the sprint goal and adapt the sprint backlog as necessary, creating a plan for the next 24 hours. It is an internal team meeting where members discuss what they did yesterday, what they will do today, and any impediments they face, ensuring everyone is aligned and focused. For example, team members might quickly share how their tasks are progressing and if they need help, making real-time adjustments. Remember, the Daily Scrum is for the development team to plan their day and coordinate efforts, not for reporting to external stakeholders. Question 4. What is the term for a prioritized list of all known features, functions, requirements, enhancements, and fixes that need to be done to a product? I. Sprint backlog. B. Project charter. C. Product backlog. D. Work breakdown structure, WBS. Answer: C. Product backlog. The product backlog is a dynamic, ordered list of everything that might be needed in the product, serving as the single source of requirements for any changes to be made to the product. It is maintained and prioritized by the product owner, reflecting the current understanding of what will maximize product value. For instance, a product backlog for an e-commerce website might include items like implement secure payment gateway, add user wish list, and fix broken search functionality, all ranked by importance. Keep in mind that the product backlog is a living document, constantly refined and updated as new information emerges. Question 5. During a daily Scrum, who is primarily responsible for determining the next 24 hours plan? I. The Scrum Master. B. The Product Owner. C. The Development Team. D. The Project Sponsor. Answer, C. The Development Team. The development team is responsible for organizing and conducting the daily Scrum, and they collectively determine the plan for the next 24 hours to achieve the sprint goal. This reflects the Agile principle of self-organization, empowering the team to manage its own work and coordinate efforts without external direction during the meeting. For example, team members will discuss their individual progress and challenges, then collaboratively decide how to best utilize their skills for the upcoming day. Remember that the daily Scrum is for the team, by the team, to ensure they remain on track toward their sprint goal. Question 6. Which Agile estimation technique uses relative sizing, often with the Fibonacci sequence, to estimate the effort required for user stories? I. Ideal hours. B. Function point analysis. C. Planning poker. D. Critical path method. Answer, C. Planning poker. Planning poker is a consensus-based, gamified estimation technique used in Agile development to estimate the effort or relative size of user stories, typically using numbers from the Fibonacci sequence, e.g., 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. Each team member privately estimates a story, then reveals their estimate simultaneously, prompting discussion and re-estimation until a consensus is reached. For instance, if one team member estimates a story as 3 and another as 8, they discuss their reasoning to align on a shared understanding of its complexity. This approach encourages thorough discussion and shared understanding within the team about the work involved. Question 7. What does the definition of done, DODI, primarily provide for an Agile team? I. A list of all features to be delivered in the next release. B. A standard for when a product backlog item is considered complete and shippable. C. A checklist for the sprint planning meeting. D. A formal sign-off document from the project sponsor. Answer, B. A standard for when a product backlog item is considered complete and shippable. The definition of done, DODI, is a shared understanding within the Scrum team about what it means for work to be complete on a product backlog item, ensuring quality and transparency. It creates a formal criterion that all increment must satisfy, providing a clear standard that prevents partially finished work from being considered complete. For example, a DOD might include items like code reviewed, tests passed, and documentation updated, ensuring a high-quality, ready-to-ship product. Having a clear definition of done helps maintain quality and provides a transparent view of progress for everyone involved. Question 8. In an Agile context, which leadership style focuses on meeting the needs of the team and helping them grow, rather than dictating tasks? I. Autocratic leadership. B. Laissez-faire leadership. C. Transactional leadership. D. Servant leadership. Answer, D. Servant leadership. Servant leadership is a philosophy and set of practices where the leader's primary goal is to serve their team, empowering them and removing impediments to their success. This contrasts with traditional leadership, which often focuses on top-down control and individual performance metrics, as servant leaders prioritize the well-being and development of their team members. For instance, a Scrum Master acting as a servant leader might coach the team on conflict resolution or shield them from external distractions so they can focus on their work. Embracing servant leadership fosters a collaborative and supportive environment, helping teams achieve their full potential. Question 9. What is the main purpose of the sprint retrospective in Scrum? I. To demonstrate the completed increment to stakeholders. B. To plan the content for the upcoming sprint. C. To inspect the team's processes and identify improvements for the next sprint. D. To resolve technical issues encountered during the sprint. Answer: C. To inspect the team's processes and identify improvements for the next sprint. The sprint retrospective is an opportunity for the Scrum team to inspect itself and create a plan for improvements to be enacted during the next sprint. It is a dedicated time for the team to reflect on what went well, what could be improved, and what they commit to changing to enhance their effectiveness and quality. For example, the team might discuss how their communication could be better or how to streamline their testing process. This continuous improvement mindset is crucial in Agile, helping the team become more efficient and effective over time. Question 10. In Kanban, what do work in progress (WIP) limits primarily aim to achieve? I. To prevent team members from starting new tasks. B. To ensure that all tasks are completed within a single day. C. To improve flow and reduce bottlenecks by restricting the number of active tasks. D. To dictate the exact order in which tasks must be completed. Answer: C. To improve flow and reduce bottlenecks by restricting the number of active tasks. Work in progress (WIP) limits in Kanban are a fundamental practice designed to restrict the number of items that can be in progress at any given time, thereby improving focus and throughput. By limiting WIP, teams can identify bottlenecks more easily, reduce context switching, and accelerate the delivery of value by pushing items to completion rather than starting new ones. For instance, a development column might have a WIP limit of 3, meaning only 3 tasks can be actively developed simultaneously. Limiting WIP is a powerful way to enhance efficiency and maintain a smooth, predictable flow of work. Question 11. Which of the following is an Agile value according to the Agile Manifesto? I. Comprehensive documentation over working software. B. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. C. Following a plan over responding to change. D. Contract negotiation over customer collaboration. Answer: B. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. The Agile Manifesto values individuals and interactions over processes and tools, signifying a preference for human collaboration and effective communication as more critical to success than rigid procedures or sophisticated software. This core value emphasizes that talented people working together and communicating directly are more effective than relying solely on detailed documentation or automated systems. For example, an Agile team prioritizes a quick chat to resolve a problem over filing a formal change request. Remember, Agile puts people and their ability to interact at the forefront of successful project delivery. Question 12. What does incremental delivery mean in an Agile project? I. Delivering all project features at once at the very end. B. Delivering small, valuable pieces of functionality frequently throughout the project. C. Delivering only non-functional requirements in early stages. D. Delivering large, complex modules that require extensive integration. Answer: B. Delivering small, valuable pieces of functionality frequently throughout the project. Incremental delivery is an Agile approach where usable portions of a product are delivered to stakeholders in short cycles, allowing for early feedback and continuous adaptation. Instead of waiting until the entire product is finished, teams release smaller, functional increments, which users can try out and provide feedback on. For example, building an e-commerce site might involve first delivering the ability to browse products, then adding the shopping cart in the next increment, and finally implementing payment processing. This strategy ensures value is delivered continuously and the product evolves based on real user needs. Question 13. In Agile development, what does technical debt refer to? I. The financial cost of hardware and software licenses. B. The cost incurred due to using outdated development tools. C. The implied cost of additional rework caused by choosing an easy but limited solution now instead of using a better approach. D. The backlog items related to improving team skills and knowledge. Answer, C. The implied cost of additional rework caused by choosing an easy but limited solution now instead of using a better approach. Technical debt is a metaphor describing the future consequences of prioritizing quick, expedient solutions over high-quality, robust implementations in software development. Just like financial debt, taking shortcuts in coding or architecture can lead to higher maintenance costs, slower development, and increased effort for future changes. For example, if a team implements a feature with quick and dirty code to meet a deadline, they might accumulate technical debt that will require significant refactoring later. Managing technical debt proactively is crucial for the long-term health and agility of a product. Question 14. Which lean practice helps identify and visualize all the steps in a process, from beginning to end, to find areas for improvement and waste reduction? I. Critical path method. B. Value stream mapping. C. Earned value management. D. Monte Carlo analysis. Answer, B. Value stream mapping. Value stream mapping is a lean technique used to identify, visually represent, and analyze the flow of materials and information required to bring a product or service to a consumer. By mapping out the entire process, teams can pinpoint waste, bottlenecks, and non-value-adding activities, thereby optimizing the flow and increasing efficiency. For example, mapping the process of delivering a software feature might reveal excessive handoffs or unnecessary approval steps that can be eliminated. This visual tool helps teams understand their processes deeply and systematically work towards continuous improvement. Question 15. The product owner is accountable for all of the following except I. Ensuring the development team is self-organizing. B. Clearly expressing product backlog items. C. Ordering items in the product backlog to best achieve goals and missions. D. Optimizing the value of the work the development team performs. Answer, I. Ensuring the development team is self-organizing. While the product owner works closely with the development team, the accountability for ensuring the development team is self-organizing primarily rests with the Scrum Master, who serves the team by coaching them in self-management and cross-functionality. The product owner's core responsibilities are centered around the product itself, maximizing its value, managing the product backlog, and articulating vision and goals. For instance, the product owner might explain a new feature's business value, but it's the Scrum Master who helps the team decide how they will organize to build it. The product owner focuses on what to build, while the Scrum Master focuses on how the team works effectively. Question 16. What is a common challenge when scaling Agile to larger organizations or multiple teams? I. Ensuring individual team autonomy is strictly limited. B. Maintaining alignment and communication across multiple interdependent teams. C. Eliminating the need for any kind of overall planning. D. Reducing the frequency of stakeholder feedback. Answer, B. Maintaining alignment and communication across multiple interdependent teams. Scaling Agile involves applying Agile principles to larger, more complex initiatives involving numerous teams, and a significant challenge is maintaining clear alignment and effective communication across these interdependent teams. As more teams work on different parts of a larger product, ensuring their efforts are synchronized and that they are all working towards common strategic goals becomes complex. For example, if one team is building the front-end interface and another the back-end database, their work needs careful coordination to integrate seamlessly. Effective communication strategies and frameworks like SAFe or LESS are often employed to address these challenges. Question 17. In Agile, what is the primary purpose of a release plan? I. To provide a detailed, fixed schedule for all features to be delivered over several years. B. To outline the high-level goals and anticipated features for a larger product increment, typically spanning multiple sprints. C. To commit to the exact date and scope of the next 2 weeks' work. D. To serve as a contractual agreement with external vendors for specific deliverables. Answer, B. To outline the high-level goals and anticipated features for a larger product increment, typically spanning multiple sprints. An Agile release plan provides a high-level forecast of when a larger set of features or a major product increment will be delivered, typically encompassing several sprints. It sets expectations and direction for stakeholders and the team, without being a rigid, unchangeable commitment, allowing flexibility to adapt to new information. For instance, a release plan might target a major new product version to be available in 3 months, detailing the key themes and likely features it will include. Remember, Agile release plans are adaptive forecasts, not fixed schedules, reflecting the iterative nature of development. Question 18. What does a burn-down chart typically illustrate in an Agile project? I. The total cost expended versus the budget over time. B. The amount of work remaining versus time in a sprint or release. C. The number of defects found over the project lifecycle. D. The team's velocity over several sprints. Answer, B. The amount of work remaining versus time in a sprint or release. A burn-down chart is a visual representation of work left to do versus time, commonly used to track the progress within a sprint or a larger release. It graphically displays the remaining effort, e.g., in story points or hours, and helps the team and stakeholders understand if they are on track to complete the planned work by the end of the period. For example, a downward-sloping line indicates the team is reducing the remaining work, while a flat line might signal an impediment. This chart serves as an excellent tool for transparency and facilitates early detection of potential schedule risks. Question 19. What is the main objective of the sprint review? I. To perform a formal audit of the development team's work. B. To demonstrate the increment and gather feedback from stakeholders. C. To finalize the budget for the upcoming sprints. D. To update the project charter with new project goals. Answer, B. To demonstrate the increment and gather feedback from stakeholders. The sprint review is a collaborative meeting where the Scrum team and stakeholders inspect the increment created during the sprint and adapt the product backlog if needed. The development team demonstrates the completed work, and the entire group discusses what was done, what has changed, and what to do next, fostering transparency and continuous learning. For example, the team might show a new user login feature, and users can provide immediate input on its usability. This feedback is crucial for guiding future development and ensuring the product meets evolving needs. Question 20. In Agile, why is continuous stakeholder collaboration prioritized? I. To ensure stakeholders only provide input at the project's beginning. B. To reduce the need for any formal documentation. C. To ensure the product continuously aligns with evolving needs and provides maximum value. D. To strictly control the scope and prevent any changes. Answer, C. To ensure the product continuously aligns with evolving needs and provides maximum value. Continuous stakeholder collaboration is a fundamental Agile principle, prioritizing ongoing engagement with customers and users throughout the project lifecycle. This constant interaction ensures that the product being developed remains aligned with their evolving needs, allowing for timely adjustments and maximizing the delivery of value. For example, regular feedback sessions with users allow the team to quickly pivot if a feature isn't meeting expectations, rather than discovering issues only at launch. Engaging stakeholders frequently fosters a shared understanding and ensures the product truly solves their problems. Question 21. How is risk management typically approached in an Agile project? I. All risks are identified and documented upfront in a comprehensive risk register, then strictly avoided. B. Risks are managed iteratively, identified and mitigated continuously in short cycles, and accepted if they have low impact. C. Risks are entirely the responsibility of the project manager, who manages them outside of team activities. D. Risks are ignored until they become significant issues, then addressed through emergency procedures. Answer: B. Risks are managed iteratively, identified and mitigated continuously in short cycles, and accepted if they have low impact. In Agile projects, risk management is an ongoing, iterative process, integrated into regular activities like sprint planning and retrospectives. Risks are identified, assessed, and responded to continuously in short cycles, with the team collectively owning their management. For instance, during a daily Scrum, a team member might flag a potential technical challenge, prompting the team to discuss and devise immediate mitigation strategies. This proactive and continuous approach allows for early detection and adaptation, minimizing the impact of potential problems rather than attempting to predict and control all risks up front. Question 22. Which characteristic best describes a self-organizing team in Agile? I. A team where a project manager assigns all tasks and monitors individual performance. B. A team that determines the best way to accomplish its work without being directed by others outside the team. C. A team that works completely independently of any other teams or stakeholders. D. A team that only works on tasks they find personally interesting, regardless of project priorities. Answer: B. A team that determines the best way to accomplish its work without being directed by others outside the team. A self-organizing team in Agile is empowered and trusted to determine how best to achieve the goals set for them, managing their own work and internal processes. This means the team collectively decides who does what, how tasks are tackled, and how to adapt to challenges, fostering ownership and responsibility. For example, if a team has a sprint goal, they decide as a unit which team member will work on which specific task to reach that goal. This empowerment leads to greater motivation and innovative problem solving, as those closest to the work are best suited to decide how it should be done. Question 23. What is a common characteristic of Agile contracts, particularly for complex projects with evolving requirements? I. Fixed price, fixed scope contracts that penalize changes. B. Time and materials contracts that allow for flexibility and adaptation. C. Detailed, upfront specifications that are legally binding and unchangeable. D. Contracts that include penalties for late delivery of any feature. Answer: B. Time and materials contracts that allow for flexibility and adaptation. Agile contracts often favor flexible models like time and materials, T&M, or phased approaches, which allow for adaptive planning and evolving requirements, rather than rigid fixed price, fixed scope agreements. T&M contracts enable customers to pay for the actual work performed and materials used, providing the flexibility to change direction or adapt to new information as the project progresses. For example, a contract might define a set rate for developer hours, allowing the scope to evolve based on ongoing feedback. This contractual flexibility aligns with Agile principles of embracing change and continuous customer collaboration, which is essential for complex, uncertain projects. Question 24. In Agile, what does velocity measure? I. The speed at which individual team members complete tasks. B. The total number of hours a team works in a sprint. C. The amount of product backlog items converted into an increment by a development team during a sprint. D. The frequency of new requirements being added to the product backlog. Answer: C. The amount of product backlog items converted into an increment by a development team during a sprint. Velocity is an agile metric that measures the amount of work, typically in story points, a development team successfully completes and delivers in a single sprint. It helps the team understand their capacity and forecast how much work they can realistically undertake in future sprints, providing a basis for planning. For instance, if a team consistently completes 30 story points per sprint, their velocity is 30, which can be used to estimate how many sprints a larger feature might take. Remember, velocity is a team-level measure and should not be used to compare individual performance or between different teams. Question 25. What is a minimum viable product, MVP? I. A product with only enough features to satisfy the project manager. B. The final version of a product, complete with all intended features. C. A version of a new product which allows a team to collect the maximum amount of validated learning about customers with the least effort. D. A prototype developed without any customer input. Answer: C. A version of a new product which allows a team to collect the maximum amount of validated learning about customers with the least effort. A minimum viable product, MVP, is a strategy used in agile and lean startup methodologies to release a product with just enough features to satisfy early customers and provide feedback for future product development. The goal is to learn from customer interaction with the smallest possible investment of time and effort, validating assumptions and informing subsequent iterations. For example, a new social media app might launch with only a profile creation and basic photo sharing feature as its MVP, then add comments and private messaging based on user feedback. The MVP helps teams quickly test hypotheses and build the right product by focusing on essential value and learning. Question 26. Which Agile Manifesto principle states, "Our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software"? I. Welcome changing requirements, even late in development. B. Deliver working software frequently, from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, with a preference to the shorter timescale. C. Business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. D. Build projects around motivated individuals. Answer: B. Deliver working software frequently, from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, with a preference to the shorter timescale. The Agile Manifesto principle that emphasizes, "Our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software," is directly supported by delivering working software frequently, from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, with a preference to the shorter timescale. This principle stresses the importance of regularly providing tangible, usable product increments to customers, allowing them to experience the product and provide feedback quickly. For example, releasing a new app feature every 2 weeks ensures customers get value quickly and the team can adapt based on their reactions. Frequent delivery is key to staying responsive and ensuring customer satisfaction. Question 27. When an impediment is identified during a daily Scrum, what is the immediate responsibility of the development team? I. To stop the daily Scrum and immediately resolve the impediment. B. To document the impediment and assign it to the project manager. C. To discuss the impediment briefly and then the Scrum Master is responsible for its removal. D. To ignore it if it seems minor and continue with the plan. Answer: C. To discuss the impediment briefly and then the Scrum Master is responsible for its removal. During the daily Scrum, the development team members raise impediments that are hindering their progress, but the meeting itself is not for solving them, rather, the Scrum Master takes responsibility for addressing and removing these obstacles. The team briefly discusses the impediment to ensure everyone understands it, and then the Scrum Master typically works outside the meeting to facilitate its resolution. For example, if a team member states they are blocked waiting for a specific software license, the Scrum Master will then work to acquire that license. This approach allows the daily Scrum to remain focused on planning the next 24 hours while ensuring impediments are actively managed. Question 28. What are information radiators in an agile environment? I. Devices used to broadcast important announcements to all stakeholders at once. B. Physical displays or digital dashboards that present key project information in a highly visible and accessible way. C. Tools used for transmitting confidential project data securely. D. Meetings specifically designed to share critical information with the entire organization. Answer: B. Physical displays or digital dashboards that present key project information in a highly visible and accessible way. Information radiators are highly visible physical displays or digital dashboards strategically placed where the team and stakeholders can easily see them, providing up-to-date project information at a glance. They promote transparency and serve as a constant source of truth for progress, impediments, and other relevant metrics without requiring formal meetings or reports. For example, a Kanban board on a wall or a digital burn-down chart displayed on a monitor acts as an information radiator. These tools help keep everyone informed and foster a shared understanding of the project's status and direction. Question 29. What is pair programming in Agile development? I. Two developers working independently on different features that will eventually integrate. B. One developer writing code while another reviews it concurrently on the same workstation. C. Two developers competing to write the most efficient code for the same feature. D. A method where developers take turns writing code for an entire day, then switch roles. Answer: B. One developer writing code while another reviews it concurrently on the same workstation. Pair programming is an extreme programming (XP) practice where two developers work together at one workstation, with one, the driver, writing code and the other, the navigator, reviewing it, looking for errors, and thinking about the overall design and strategy. This collaborative approach enhances code quality, reduces defects, facilitates knowledge transfer, and improves team cohesion. For example, while one person types out a solution, the other might suggest alternative approaches or catch a logical error before it's even compiled. This constant peer review and shared problem-solving ultimately lead to more robust and higher quality software. Question 30. What is timeboxing in an Agile context? I. Setting an exact, unchangeable deadline for the entire project. B. Limiting the amount of work an individual can do in a day. C. Fixing a maximum duration for an activity or event, with no extension possible. D. Estimating the exact time required for each task to the minute. Answer: C. Fixing a maximum duration for an activity or event, with no extension possible. Timeboxing is an Agile technique where a fixed, maximum duration is allocated for an activity or event, and that timebox cannot be extended. If the activity is not completed within the timebox, the work stops, and the team re-evaluates what has been achieved and what remains. For example, a sprint in Scrum is a timebox of 1 month or less, and the daily Scrum is timeboxed to 15 minutes. This practice helps ensure focus, prevents unnecessary scope creep, and maintains a consistent rhythm for the project. Question 31. What is the primary purpose of a user story in Agile? I. To serve as a formal, comprehensive documentation of system requirements. B. To describe a small, valuable piece of functionality from the perspective of an end user. C. To outline the technical architecture and design choices for a system. D. To track the hourly progress of individual team members on tasks. Answer, B. To describe a small, valuable piece of functionality from the perspective of an end user. A user story is a short, simple description of a feature told from the perspective of the person who desires the new capability, usually in the format. As a type of user, I want some goal, so that, some reason/benefit. Its primary purpose is to facilitate conversation and define a small, valuable increment of work that can be completed within a short time frame. For example, as a customer, I want to be able to search for products by brand so that I can quickly find items from my favorite companies. User stories prioritize understanding user needs and value over exhaustive technical specifications. Question 32. In Agile, what does continuous integration, CI, refer to? I. Integrating new team members into the project on a regular basis. B. Regularly merging developers' code changes into a shared main branch, often multiple times a day. C. Continuously interacting with stakeholders to gather feedback. D. Integrating all project documentation into a single, comprehensive repository. Answer, B. Regularly merging developers' code changes into a shared main branch, often multiple times a day. Continuous integration, CI, is a software development practice where developers frequently integrate their code changes into a central shared repository, typically multiple times a day. Each integration is then verified by an automated build and automated tests, allowing teams to detect integration errors quickly and maintain a healthy code base. For example, after a developer commits a small code change, an automated system immediately runs all tests to ensure the change hasn't broken anything. CI significantly reduces the complexity of merging code and helps prevent costly integration issues from accumulating. Question 33. Which of the following is considered a type of waste in lean and agile methodologies? I. Value-added work. B. Producing more features than customers currently need, overproduction. C. Continuous customer collaboration. D. Proactive risk management. Answer, B. Producing more features than customers currently need, overproduction. In Lean and Agile, waste refers to any activity that consumes resources but does not add value to the customer. Producing more features than customers currently need, known as overproduction, is a classic example of waste, as it consumes resources without delivering immediate value and can lead to increased complexity and maintenance costs. For instance, building out an advanced analytics dashboard before any users have even requested basic reporting features would be overproduction. Eliminating waste, such as overproduction, is a core principle of Lean to optimize efficiency and maximize value delivery. Question 34. What is the main objective of backlog refinement, formerly called backlog grooming? I. To completely rewrite all user stories for the next 3 sprints. B. To ensure the product backlog items are detailed, estimated, and ordered appropriately for upcoming sprints. C. To finalize the sprint goal for the current sprint. D. To resolve all technical issues and impediments from the previous sprint. Answer, B. To ensure the product backlog items are detailed, estimated, and ordered appropriately for upcoming sprints. Backlog refinement is an ongoing activity where the product owner and the development team collaborate to add detail, estimates, and order to product backlog items, ensuring they are ready for future sprints. It involves breaking down larger items, clarifying requirements, and re-estimating efforts to maintain a clear and actionable backlog. For example, the team might discuss a complex feature, breaking it into smaller, manageable user stories that can fit within a sprint. This continuous process ensures the product backlog remains a dynamic, well-prepared list for efficient sprint planning. Question 35. As a Scrum Master, what is your primary responsibility regarding impediments raised by the development team? I. To assign the impediment to a specific team member for resolution. B. To ensure the impediment is documented in a formal report for stakeholders. C. To actively work to remove the impediments or facilitate the team's ability to remove them. D. To prioritize the impediments and add them to the product backlog for a future sprint. Answer: C. To actively work to remove the impediments or facilitate the team's ability to remove them. The Scrum Master serves the development team by actively working to remove impediments, or obstacles, that hinder the team's progress. While the team identifies impediments, the Scrum Master's role is to ensure these roadblocks are addressed and cleared so the team can maintain focus on the sprint goal. For example, if the team is blocked by a lack of access to a testing environment, the Scrum Master would coordinate with IT or other departments to resolve this access issue. This servant leadership aspect helps the team maintain its flow and achieve higher productivity.